Hey guys, welcome to Wednesday. So this week's sketch is this gorgeous sketch. I love this. I think it's a beautiful sketch. I have two guest designers joining me today. One is Jackie and Becky. I will leave their YouTube channels down below. They're new to me YouTubers. I just discovered them. They're both fabulous. And as soon as I watched a couple of their videos, I needed them to guest design with me because they're just lovely. They're lovely girls. And their layouts are so cool too. So make sure you go down below, check out their channels, check out their videos. Yeah. Jackie, who is JQ Crafty, she is so adorable. Her channel actually says, if it's not crooked, I didn't cut it, which I'm telling you, that's like the best tagline ever. And Becky is just an absolute sweetheart. She does amazing pages. Okay, so this is our sketch for this week. I am going to follow this sketch very closely because I have a really great idea. And I'm going to follow the sketch very closely. And before I start assembling the sketch, I'm going to do some work offline, busy work, fussy cutting and die cutting. So let me go through my products. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to go off camera, do all the fussy cutting and the die cutting, and then we'll come back and put the layout together. So these are my photos. I am altering this first photo and making it portrait instead of landscape. So we have these two, and I used the Pick Frame app to make these little photos. That Pick Frame app is awesome. Okay, so that's the photos we're going to be using. I'm going to be fussy cutting lots of flowers from this Minte pattern paper. I'm not sure which flowers. I'm going to cut some of the shabby chic ones. I think they match the colors I've chosen for the layout. But then I also want to pull in some colors that are more vibrant because some of the colors in the pictures are vibrant. So there's a couple of these I'm going to cut out. So I'm going to do like some of these buttery yellow ones and some of these like pinkier ones. And I'm going to kind of just mix them all up and use them on this layout. So we have lots. I think those are the only two that I thought would be really nice for this particular spread. Yeah, the rest of them are kind of a little bit woodsy for what I want to do, but those two for sure. So I'm going to do that off camera. I am also going to use this lovely cardstock warehouse paper. So this is from the Merry-Go-Round collection, which I purchased and have just been absolutely loving. I've kind of been I've started following them like crazy on Instagram because they have these amazing like collections of paper for different seasons that I'm obsessed with. So I got this green and blue. This is from the Merry-Go-Round cardstock kit, and I'm going to die cut my title with my Kathy Zilski Everett dies, and then I'm going to stack them like I do to make a stacked title, and I'm going to do that off camera too. And then I've also pulled, this is going to be my background, and then I have this paper to add, like to mat or do something with. This is Jelly Bean Soup Watermelon Gazpacho. Watermelon Gazpacho soup. I think it's called Seedless Cucumber. There's the back, but we're going to use this B side. And then this is an offcut from a basic gray paper from the Gypsy line. It's the Dolly patterns. We're going to use those too. I have some wood veneer from Color Cast, and then Strawberry Field sequin mix from Spiegel Mom Scraps. This is one of the August release. You guys, I have been obsessed with the August release from Spiegel Mom Scraps. It is off the charts, so good. I have all of the August release on my desk, and I just keep pulling it because it's just fabulous. So we're going to use that one too. Look how pretty. Anyway, so those are my colors, and those are the patterns and products I pulled. I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to go off camera, fussy cut a ton of papers, and die cut my title, and then we'll come back and we'll put it all together. So I'm going to kind of start this off by trimming up my photos. I am going to just trim the white border down so it's even around all 4 edges of my larger photo. And then my smaller photo, I'm going to cut apart into 3 separate photos. I'm not going to back them or anything. I like the white border, but I wanted to put a little more separation between those 3 small photos. So I'm going to cut this gypsy pattern paper down. I'm going to do a 1-inch strip, and then I'm going to cut about a 1/2 inch off of one end so that it doesn't quite go over end to end. I want there to be a little bit of, I want it to be a little smaller than the width of the page. I'm going to kind of get this together where I think it should go, and then make sure I have my photos placed the way they should be. And then we're going to go ahead and get my photos down because we don't need, they don't need anything else. I'm just going to get them glued down. I'm also going to use some Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo to ink up everything. I was going to use gray, and then I'm like, you know, I think maybe brown would be better with the wood that we have, the wood veneer we have going on. So I'm going to ink up all of the edges with my Distress Oxide Vintage Photo Distress ink. And then I'm going to go ahead and get it down on the page, and I'm going to adhere this strip and then my pictures. And then we're going to get to work on the placement for my title and where my title is going to go. So I'm just going to go ahead here, get this last photo down, and then let's work with the title. So I went ahead and I die cut my title and stacked the die cuts. You've seen me do this to a bunch on my channel quite often, so I just did it off camera. It just seemed like an easier way, and I was doing some like housework in between doing it, so I am going to go ahead and decide to stack together these, or ink up the edges of each of the letters, and I'm going to adhere them down with my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive. I actually used a lot of Nouveau Deluxe adhesive on this page. I wanted things to stick right away, or like I wanted to be able to kind of move them around, but then have them be stuck when they were stuck. And I just felt like wet glue was a good option. So adding the brown ink to the edges of all of these letters and then gluing them down gives them a little separation from the background. We are working with a lot of very kind of light pastel colors, so that little bit of brown along all of the edges is just going to keep, it's going to give a little bit of contrast so that you can read what is written there. Another thing is this background paper is this lovely grid design, which I adore because it allows me to make sure that my title is going to be straight. Once I have that title down, I decide where I'm going to put these 2 wood veneer circles, and then I'm going to decide where I want to put my different clusters. So I did end up fussy cutting quite a few leaves and flowers from those different papers I showed you. And I'm just going to go ahead and tuck them in and figure out where I want them to go. So a lot of people ask me questions about my fussy cutting. I know I put a little bit of my fussy cutting technique in the video that I posted for the quarantine video hop. So my technique is that I move my paper, not my scissor hand, while I am cutting, and the scissors I use are the Close to My Heart micro tip scissors. They are fabulous, fabulous, fabulous fussy cutting scissors. I could not be happier with them. I love them. If you get the ones that are Teflon coated, they're a little more expensive, but then you can cut through like stickers and stuff, and it doesn't even bother. Doesn't do anything. But those Close to My Heart scissors, the micro tip scissors, are amazing. So if you're looking for a good pair of scissors, my sister, who doesn't like to fussy cut, who is like incredibly against fussy cutting, she's a scrapbooker too. I got her to buy a pair of these Close to My Heart scissors, and now she is fussy cutting like all the things. So yeah, it's really, those scissors are like a game changer. They're so fabulous. So I'm deciding where all of these little beautiful leaves are going to go. And once I have them down, I'm going to ever so carefully glue everything down exactly where you see it. If these leaves that I'm adding look funny to you, that is because they need sequins on top of them to complete their little cluster there. So they're going to look a little odd until I start to get the sequins glued down. So I'm going to kind of move things ever so carefully and then slowly glue everything down with the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. This was the other reason I used it, because I could just lift up part of it, get it right back down. It was a little bit easier to kind of get that little point up underneath and blop some glue on than try to get my tape runner underneath there. Some of the elements I'm going to pop up as I go along with some thin foam adhesive, not too many. I think I just chose a couple of the flowers that were like on top of the clusters, just to give them a little bit of depth. So you can see here, I'm just gluing everything down, tucking it up, tucking it under. When I glued down the letters, I put just little bits of glue, so there were areas that on the letters that weren't glued straight to the paper, so I could tuck stuff underneath if I wanted to. So once I had all of those flower clusters glued down, I'm going to take this adorable label punch from EK Success. I love that label punch. I'm actually going to go ahead and use both of these label pieces. I'm going to ink them up, and I'm going to stamp the date on this smaller of the two labels, and then pop that small label up with some foam adhesive. So we have the big label there, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab this small label, and I have it there at the bottom. So I just inked it up, I added my date stamp, and then I put some foam adhesive behind it. So now we're going to go ahead and work with these beautiful sequins. I'm going to go around each set of these clusters that I have, and I'm going to add sequins to all the little bits and pieces. And they are going to provide just that perfect little pop of color. So you're going to see here how I'm going to add them to those leaves, and they're going to almost look like a cluster of berries. And so I'm being kind of picky about what colors and what sequins go where. Like, there are white sequins in this mix, and I don't want them to be in the, on those green leaves. I want those nice bright pink ones and the more orangey colored ones, because I want there to be that bit of color kind of covering up those leaves so it looks like a cluster of berries and not, you know, kind of random. So I'm just going to continue on here down through all of my different scrapbooking, or all of my different clusters. And then our layout is finished. I am super happy with how this one turned out. I love these beautiful sequins. I love all these flowers, and I love the design. I think it's a really fun, kind of minimalist, but still amazing design. So have a fabulous, fabulous rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.